what do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
To end it
Tuesday night,
the 2-week vacation.
Before I go to England, yeah.
Are you going to pick him up, or how are we going to do that?
Well, do we just do it over the phone, or do we bring him in? I don't know.
I think it has to be in studio for the Facebook and YouTube audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll reach out and see if this is realistic.
You're going to reach out?
Do you want to reach out?
Yeah, I think it'd be better if I did it.
Why is that?
I mean, we have a rapport,
Okay.
Speak the same language.
You're wearing a shirt.
I'm wearing his shirt. I bought a shirt. I think he owes it to me, even though I don't think he got a cut of it. But hey,
yeah, you talk about me 69ing reporters. I don't wear their shirts at least. That's.
But none of the reporters are Chad Latz.
This is true.
So
this is a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
So anything happened since the last show? It
was Friday night.
Yeah,
a little bit something. I was glad we did not do a Saturday show, because what would have sucked. Well, we knew the commitment was probably coming from Xavier Booker. But what would have sucked was to do like a Saturday morning show and then have like a 2-hour shelf life before
and then just
the news change.
Tag on a 10-minute breaking news thing.
Yeah, no, what's that?
I don't know.
Anyway, all right. Well, as we do with every Sunday night show, we dig into our hot takes and yours. Jason, you want me to go first?
Absolutely, because these could be Carmen Electra's hot worthy.
Excellent.
It's going to be tough.
All right. Well,
so go ahead, my friend.
Everybody knows the in the MSU world, the big news in landing Xavier Booker. Some people have rated as the top basketball recruit in the 2023 class. Other people have him. Everybody's got him in the top 5 that's updated their rankings. Obviously, an impact guy. Landing Xavier Booker to me is important for several reasons. One, and this goes beyond the fan base and the relieving some of the angst and just easing the vibe, and I think that did that. I think you can just see it. You can feel it. But I think it also does show that Izzo and his staff can still lock in on a guy, make him feel loved, outwork people to get him, and that works. Like it shows that Izzo's cachet and recruiting game still plays with big-time recruits and their parents. And I mean, that's an important thing when you got a 67-year-old coach who people think might be losing touch, and you've had a couple years that aren't great. Now, it really hasn't been that long. He got Max Christie, who was a freshman last year, 2 years ago. Amani Bates committed around that time. Now, that commitment didn't stick, but he still, for a while, landed Amani Bates.
You're in the conversation.
Yeah, it's not like recruit. I mean, the Izzo D'Antonio recruiting comparison and program comparison has always been ass, right? You can be concerned about what Izzo's doing when he's not bringing a big man in from the portal and how he's approaching this modern time of college basketball with the portal and NIL and how he'll adjust to it and all that stuff. You can be concerned, that's fine, but the comparison to a guy losing steam I've always thought was just off base. And I think this shows it, because here's a guy who, we were talking to Ryan Black from the LSJ last week when Amani Booker was in Milwaukee. Izzo was watching Booker one day, flew down south to another AAU tournament that night, was back the next day watching Booker. Like, he's not loafing it. He's not easing into retirement. He's not trying to just develop a few guys and win by getting old. He understands that in college basketball, to win, you got to have seasoned talent, some guys who get old on your roster and are really good, but you've also got to have athleticism. And guys who are difference makers. And I think that's the other important thing about Booker. Like, he is a presence. He is an athletic presence. Now, we will see if he's ready to be a force from day one. There are a lot of freshmen who aren't, especially big guys. Jaren Jackson was not ready to be a force. He was in a presence. He was very helpful on that team. Deontay Davis was not ready to be a force. Now, he was important, and I did a column at one point on just the statistical differences when he played more minutes, over 20 minutes or whatever it was. I mean, he was a really important presence to that team. And when you watched MSU play Duke last year, you could just tell athletically they needed a little more. Like, he'll change them athletically. And their recruiting class isn't done, obviously. They have, for now they have him and Jeremy Fears Jr. But I think this was a massive deal for MSU because it may or may not be his highest ranked recruit of all time, but it comes at a time that people are questioning that. And it's also, for a guy who wants to win another national title, these are the sort of guys that make a big difference. Now, they may not be the best player on your roster, a freshman big man who may be a one-and-done guy. I don't know. We'll see. But if you have a good, seasoned, veteran, talented group around him, like when he arrives, if you still have Jaden Akins as a junior playing his best season maybe of college basketball or last season of college basketball, we'll see if you still have an A.J. Hogard. We'll see what a Malik Hall decides about his fifth year. You may have a really seasoned roster that's perfect, that takes the pressure off this kid from having to be somebody everybody's expecting to do something he can't do, and just let him change the game athletically, let him be a presence where he can. And you need guys like that if you're going to – we saw it with North Carolina and late in the NCAA tournament. You need big guys who can play and are athletic and are talented and skilled, and this guy looks like he has a good 7'4" wingspan and all that jazz.
But does he have that dog in him, Graham? I mean, that's the most important question.
I have no idea.
Oh.
I have no idea. But he is a talent. And anytime you're talking about a guy who's a top they've had very few guys in this realm of the recruiting rankings. And you're talking, going back to Kelvin Torbert in that range, of guy who's this heralded. And a lot of people wanted him. MSU identified him early. He was in their kind of 4-hour radius. And the thing, if you go back throughout time, MSU under Izzo has really dominated the state largely, and then also done very well in sort of that 4-hour radius, except for the blip for a while in Chicago. I mean, Indiana and Purdue must hate having Izzo around. This is you get these Indianapolis guy, and Izzo comes again. It's like Gary Harris. It's like Brandon Dawson, and it's a big deal. There's no way around that, and I think he's a guy who gives them a presence of a certain kind. All right, what is your first hot take?
Buenos tardes. It is time for the Detroit Tigers Gambling Update with Gramanito Couch and Jason Need.
I can't do it anymore, Graham. Even if we're going to make money off this team, I can't watch this collapse, the way this team is playing. I mean, did you watch that game today?
I did not.
They had one runner. No, they didn't have a runner on base after the fourth inning. Javi Baez, by the way, with 15 errors on the season in the field. But he hit a solo shot to raise his average to 221. So why are we going to watch this team?
There's no point in watching.
I mean, either Avila gets fired, and then I get interested again. Chris Ilitch smokes some weed, has a press conference. He's transparent with us. He tells us how much money he's willing to spend, or what are we going to do here? Do I see you guys in 2025? Should I not even watch next season? You tell me when to come back, because we're doing a rebuild in a sport like we've talked about many, many times with no salary cap. It was just depressing even making money off today's game.
I never find it depressing making money. What I want you to do, and this will go into this is going to be my third hot take, but I'll
move it up
and move it up here. Yeah. To me, I want you to be reliable. You either are competitive, and I can enjoy you, or you need to suck enough for me to make money. And when you're doing some of the stuff they've been doing lately, where they're just good enough to ruin a good gambling weekend, that pisses me off. Like, decide who you're going to be. Now, I do think, and I'm not going to watch these games, but I think in August, especially if they trade like Michael Fulmer and a couple, if they trade a couple relievers.
But why?
and the strength. What I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying if they do, and the bullpen that's been the strength of the team is all of a sudden.
But if you fire Avila, but you're going to let him make moves right now at the trade deadline and move some of the guys that he has, I mean, he's not going to move anyone because he knows he doesn't have much time left.
The Tigers are the most depressing team right now in the Detroit market by a long way.
Have they moved to number 4 in the confidence of where we think out of the 4 Detroit teams?
You've got to think so, right? Because the Lions, I feel like there's at least a decent energy about them right now. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. But I'm saying with the AL Central, with kind of, there's not really a dominant team. I thought maybe in the next 2 years, but with the way the team's playing right now, there's no chance. So I think they're 4 right now.
The big thing that makes you 4 is when you don't have confidence in the leadership, in the ownership, and the guy making the GM decisions. Like nobody has confidence in the Fords, but nobody's saying Brad Holmes sucks yet either. We don't know that yet. It's still young in his time.
Detroit fans are patient. Avila has had his shot.
Totally.
I mean, not many fans want a guy out after 2 years. We're willing to give a guy 3, 4, 5 years. But if it's just going downhill and national media is starting to goof on you, that's when you have to make a move. I mean, what is Chris Ilitch doing right now?
So you know where I got really annoyed, and it was this tone. The tone of this told me everything. It was when they re-signed Jonathan Scope last year, and Avila and everybody was like, "We just want to thank Ilitch for allowing us to do this." He's like $8 million a year, fucking allowing it to do this. I mean, if you should have a $300 million payroll or get your ass out of the business. It's not a salary cap sport, my man.
But that's some LinkedIn kind of like work speak, though. You just have to thank your boss and all that bullshit. I don't think he was really honest with, thank you so much for letting us spend $8 million on Scope.
It felt like that. I mean, the tone really did. Like, this is him opening the purse strings for an average
But
player.
how are we talking about getting rid of guys when we're talking about getting rid of the general manager?
No,
I just don't get it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to give up any assets right now just because
Again,
what? What are we going to do?
And the other thing is it's a non-salary cap sport. Are you going to get something of extreme value in return? Otherwise, let's just have a decent bullpen next year.
For the Javi Baez signing alone, Avila should get fired, to be honest with you. I mean, what a mega disappointment so far Javi Baez has been.
Yeah,
he's one of those guys that you can tell he just doesn't give a shit. I mean, when he was with the Mets, he's talking shit to the fan base and stuff like that because the fans in New York are going to boo. And the Detroit fans are maybe better than that, but it's just getting tired, the whole Javi Baez thing, too. It sucks to watch the whole thing go on, and Riley Green by himself pretty much and struggling on and off. So
that's all they got.
I just don't – I guess we keep making money, right? But
yeah, I think this month, if the bullpen gets beat up by the trade deadline, and that's the only thing they really have going for them, the opportunity is great. And so maybe we take advantage of it. Don't watch it, just cash in. All right, my third – and final hot take. I think MSU fans are about as lucky as it gets, and I think there are moments when they should take stock in that. Like this weekend was one of those moments because there might not be another program in the country that's getting a player like Xavier Booker and is this excited about their football program. Alabama might be the closest right now, and they've got some things going right there in hoops, obviously. But they don't care about hoops, so they don't even get to enjoy it because it's not really what drives them. At MSU, fans are almost equally driven by football and basketball to the point that they struggle to focus on both at once. And it is, to have arguably a top 5 recruit sign, to have all of a sudden this sense of hope around the basketball program when you're this excited about your football program. Like, people don't get that. And you may not always have that. And I think, there have been moments where Michigan State's had that in the last decade, the peak of D'Antonio, and some of the years it crossed over with the basketball team doing really well. I just think there are moments where you got to take stock in how good you have it. And there are very few people who get to enjoy it in the way you do. And it's not just about being good, it's about what you care about. And so there are very few schools where there is balance to the football, basketball fandom like this. And then very few schools that have that balance that are also this interesting and compelling, and I would say inciting this much hope at one time in both. And I just think that's something to remember as, there are frustrating days and all that stuff.
I think a lot of fans do. I just think there's so much dead time. I think a lot of fans reflect and go, man, this is really great, and then something comes up and goes, damn it, why aren't we going after this guy? You can have it both ways, I think.
Well, you can absolutely be frustrated. And I know as somebody covering the team, I'm grateful that I'm not covering Illinois or some place that the football program's down for a decade. The basketball program had some really bad years because that's a place that has some level of balance. It's more basketball than football. The Wisconsin has some level of balance, more football than basketball, and has had some really good good teams. But I'm grateful to be covering a place that people care this much intensely about both, and are this tuned in, even if they can't at the same.
But if people care
time.
so much, why is the Athletic not having someone cover Michigan State Athletics?
Well, it's a mistake. It's a mistake because they don't. I don't think they have a. It's a mistake because what they ought to do is have somebody like Colton and go all in and let him travel everywhere in hoops.
He seems like a popular guy online, right? Like he has a good social media presence and people seem to enjoy his work. People have written into this show about how they are going to miss him and stuff. I just don't.
Yeah, but there
blows my mind.
There is a difference between owning Twitter and driving subscriptions with your stories. And I'm not. I think Colton's a fine writer. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it doesn't always translate.
Right.
And that's just for all writers everywhere. I mean, there's kind of two different games a little bit, and so I don't think that's always a reflective of because they're looking at the business model. They know, but I also don't think they didn't give Colton a chance to truly be on that basketball beat and do it right. And I think if you do that, there's enough to make it worth your time. But again, it's also a competitive landscape. What is your?
Well, I'm going to combine these two, Graham, because these are both kind of hollow. But we're going to try to do something with them. Mega Millions. The winning ticket was sold in Des Plaines, Illinois. Now T was in Illinois because her family is from there. She had a funeral in Iowa, so she was in Illinois. I'm like, why didn't you go to Des Plaines, Illinois?
Des Plaines, yeah.
Des Plaines?
Des Plaines.
Like Des Plaines? The Plains?
Yeah.
So anyway, so they're saying that there is a law in Illinois that gives you a little bit of anonymity when you win one of these lottery things. Anything over $250,000, they give you a chance to give some anonymity, right? Now, I was thinking about this. If you win $1 billion fucking dollars, you're telling me no one is going to find out? Graham, if you won $1 billion, you won this lottery ticket, you're telling me that no one would have found out, like your friends, family, or anyone, all of a sudden you're just going to just dip from the LSJ, not go to the Athletic, and now you're on a private island doing cocaine. And people are going to go, oh, Graham must have retired early. No, he won $1 billion. Like, how do you stay anonymous with that?
Yeah, but your friends might know. But when your circle might know. Your professional colleagues might know. But what
people are going to talk, Facebook,
but it's like it's
LinkedIn.
It's not having the strangers come into your life who are people who would know.
Bring them on. I'll hire a no guy. Couple no guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
I mean, when you have 1.3 bill or whatever like that, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can hire whoever you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid of letting people know just because I have very specific plans for what I would do with the money, and that would take a lot of money.
If Graham buys a bunch of shitty newspapers,
right, there you go.
You know that he won the lottery.
The Lansing Promise is fully funded, and all of a sudden, most of my friends are paid salaries just to focus on their recreational sports.
And listen, I've had family members come at me for money, and I don't have any money, so I can't imagine if you have anything over $250K. But if you're in the billion range, when you can isolate yourself from anyone, F you. I won it. Come at me. Anyway, also, David Ortiz made the Hall of Fame. I watched Barry Bonds.
I love this combining.
I saw Barry Bonds was announced at the San Francisco Giants game. I guess they did like a Giants Hall of Fame ring thing ceremony. I don't know. Anyway, they were applauding him. I'm saying, if you're going to let David Ortiz in, I know that he failed a PED test back in 2003, but seriously, why can't we just let these guys in?
Yeah, they got to be in.
Just have them in a wing or something like that. Barry Bonds should definitely be in the Hall of Fame. How hot was that?
I'm telling you, last day of July, this is as close as we've gotten to a Pete Rose Hall of Fame.
You know what,
take.
though?
It's
but
good.
When I saw that today, I actually mean that take, though. But yeah, it was very Pete Rose-ish.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'm with you. I think they should be in. I think it should be part of history, and they should acknowledge that this was an era where this happened. But we don't really have a clear sense of everybody who took part.
So what? I wish they did steroids now. I mean, go ahead and do them again. It was the greatest ever in '98.
Right, and who knows what guys were putting in their bodies 50 years ago? Like horse tranquilizers and shit. I don't know. I mean,
why would horse tranquilizers help you hit the ball better?
I don't know. It just sounded like the right
just
thing
being
to say.
the dugout, just drooling.
Yeah, it sounded like the right thing to say there. I mean, maybe, yeah. At least Skymint is no longer a banned substance in Major League Baseball.
Peacock.
So, All right.
You know what channel the game was on today?
Yes, Peacock.
Peacock.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's take a really quick break. When we come back, we will dig into your hot takes. Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis.
Casino and Sportsbook is the site to play. Get your Vegas on right now from your phone, tablet, or laptop. All the hottest slots and tables, plus sports betting featuring in-game wagering. Download the app at firekeeperscasino.com. Go with the name you know. Firekeepers. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 or older and located in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call the Michigan Problem Gambling Helpline at 1-800-270-7117. Where else can you cheer on your team? Enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi. Sip on handcrafted cocktails or one of 46 beers on tap. Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Wherever you are on your cannabis journey, let Skymint Premium Cannabis be your guide, your friend, and your place. Whether you're curious about cannabis or a seasoned connoisseur, Skymint's knowledgeable staff will help you with a vast selection of products to choose from to fit your needs. Skymint believes access to the best cannabis helps people do good and feel good, so they grow it right here in Michigan, giving you high-quality, locally grown cannabis at highly accessible prices. Visit skymint.com for special offers and location information throughout Michigan, and use the promo code CouchAndRube20 for 20% off your first visit. Skymint Cannabis. You'll love this place.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis. With some incredible deals going on. Always great deals going on, but the specific ones they have now, buy two, get one free on all Skymint 8s. Buy two, get one free on all Skymint 1G pre-rolls and minis. I'm a big edibles guy. Jason is the Joe Ingles of weed over here, and we have both had tremendous experiences with Skymint and just how you're treated there, the questions, the in and out if you want to. I mean, it's a good experience. And
speaking of Skymint,
yeah.
I had some this weekend. Went to a friend of mine. Him and his fiance Sam had me out to their house because T is in Iowa. Took some Skymint. Went to a comedy show at Mark's. Was it Comedy Castle? And it was fun, right? So we had a table for 4 people. So Sam invites her friend, shows up in between the whole show, sits down, little blonde girl, very nice. So afterwards, we took a Uber to the comedy store, a Comedy Castle or whatever. And so she's like, we'll give you a ride home. Like, oh, fantastic. We turn the corner. She starts walking to this gigantic H2 Hummer. This little blonde girl gets into this giant H2 Hummer. Like, oh, my God, what is going on here? By the way, Skymint, it's great. Calms you down in any situation because I thought I was going to die a couple times. She gets into this vehicle. She starts driving over curbs and through construction cones and shit. I thought I was going to die. She's blasting like this techno music and shit. I'm like, man, it feels like we just robbed like a convenience store or something. We got away with it and we were celebrating. Anyway, thank you, Skymint, for getting me through that.
that is a story we're telling, also presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing.
I owe you an apology because apparently the story that you told on the last show wasn't as bad. I guess I overreacted. So I was trying to tell a story that maybe would give you some... You could have goofed on my story.
Some hope.
I tried.
It wasn't your best story, but
I
I've
understand.
heard worse.
I was trying, yeah.
Yeah.
So sorry, man.
Yeah. All right, let's dig into your hot takes.
Eric Schultz up first. Number 1, the only way MSU over 7.5 is the right play is if they're 8-3 or better going into Penn State. If there's a better chance they lose 3 in a row midseason, then they start. Wait, what did you do to me?
You're
3
good.
in a row midseason, then they start 5-0. I'm not sure how someone can confidently say they'll be 8-3 heading into Happy Valley. 2, it may have been tooting his own horn, but Graham is dead on about why the Athletic hasn't worked for MSU football. And 3, massive landing Xavier Booker. Izzo should get a ton of credit for this, and it shows that his drive is still there. Got to start seeing it in March again, though.
So let's go to the over-under 7.5 here. Because when you start early on, I felt really good about MSU over 7.5. I still feel like that if I were to play it, that's the way I would play it. But I can see Eric's argument, and other people have brought this up too. I mean, there are some tough stretches, and there are some opponents that we don't have a real good sense of. Did I just burp?
I don't know what that was.
I don't think I burped, but it sounded like a burp. That was not great.
Sounds like a body that's dying.
Yeah, that's possible.
Jesus.
Anyway, but you know, I can see what he's saying here. I mean, Wisconsin right after Ohio State, obviously Michigan, and so are those your only three? First of all, they might not lose all three, but are those the only three losses heading into Penn State? I mean, I can see how 7-5 happens with this team. But
7-5 is disappointing, so might as well lose money on top of it.
Right.
I'm not going to bet the under.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like 7-5 is a disaster type season.
Here's the thing with all of these every year. Last year was free money. Very rarely do we get a year like that where the over/under is 4.5 for Michigan State. Yep. That was just way off, and you just had a feeling they weren't going to be that bad. It was coming off a weird year, and the COVID year, and that was free money. Rarely is it free money, and this is not free money because there are so many teams. We don't have a perfect feel about Michigan State, although there are some things about Michigan State I really like, and I think their defense will be better. I think there's better depth. I think the tight end position is going to be really good. I think they're pretty decent at receiver. I think they'll be fine at running back. The offensive line, we'll find out. They got a veteran quarterback. There are a lot of things to like about Michigan State that I think helps their floor not be too low. But what we don't know is Washington. We don't have a great feel for Minnesota. And there are games along the way that may be stickier than we realize.
Dominic up next. Number 1, I've reached an apathetic point with the Tigers. Gambling against them doesn't even help anymore. There's shit. There's no hope. What's worse, it's clear that the string pullers don't even know it. Grew up on the Cubbies and should go back. They're ass too, but at least there's Ivy. 2, after 2+ years, I finally got hit by the vid. It undoubtedly was contracted during the Delta Gate last week. And you wanted me to be kind, Graham? # Delta gave me COVID. 3, Javi Baez is the fucking Antichrist. 0 plate discipline, comically bad errors, horrible attitude, and such an Avilian move. Everyone's favorite bonus. R.I.P. Bill Russell, lockdown king.
Yeah, no.
Legend.
I know. And you could kind of tell he wasn't around as much lately that he probably wasn't,
He was 88.
Yeah, and he was up there. But are there very few people who are universally as respected as Bill Russell was in a sport? Like, I mean, obviously the championships.
You don't find many people that dislike Bill Russell.
Right. And don't. I mean, obviously he won a ton, but he also was somebody who took a stand on issues, and I think is somebody who's an icon to the players of today as well. Sorry to hear about COVID, Dominic. Hope you're feeling better. That is my fear getting on this plane to England.
Mask up, bro.
Yeah, no, I'll be because I don't
wear
want
a hazmat suit.
If I pick up COVID on this trip, I want it to be on the way home. I don't mind getting it on the way home. I don't want to get it.
They don't
and
even
ruin
look
the
at your
trip.
COVID test on the way back.
Right, but I don't. What I mean is, I don't care about that as much as I just want to enjoy the trip before I get COVID.
Oh, okay. So you don't care about COVID on the way back?
Not as much. I mean, I'd prefer not to get it at all. But yeah. Anyway, Javi Baez is a massive disappointment. I mean, it is because the one thing he was supposed to be and was until this year was a plus shortstop, like defensively. Like he was supposed to be somebody who you could count on there, and you knew what he was as a hitter. It's worse than I thought as a hitter.
But you get a vibe, though. He's not a kind of guy that you bring in for a kind of a quote-unquote rebuild, though. Is Javi Baez the key guy? Yeah. Javi Baez is the guy that you bring in when you already have something going.
This is very much a Pistons late Dumars move. This is like, signing Charlie Vanilla Wafer or whatever his name was, and Ben Gordon. Like, that's what this is. They're not going to get you anywhere. You're wasting your money on them.
Vanilla Wafer. Spartan 18770. Number 1, Xavier Booker's pledge ensures that Izzo will be MSU's coach for 4 more seasons. 2, D'Antonio should be formally honored this season during the Wisconsin homecoming game. And 3, MSU will get a large bump in the 2023 recruiting class when they beat Minnesota in the Big Ten championship game.
Put some money on that. You can get good odds both ways if you put MSU and Minnesota to. You can hedge yourself right now, and you'll be in good shape. I do think. Yeah, I mean, you have to think certainly Izzo, this next year isn't Izzo's last because Booker's not even on the team yet, and he's got what I think could be a really good 2023 class coming in.
And Booker's one and done, right?
Maybe. You never know with these guys. He comes from a pretty interesting family that I don't think going to push him to make a bad decision like if he's not ready. Sometimes Jaren Jackson was obviously ready to go and hemmed and hawed about it. I don't know if he's as ready as Jaren Jackson. We'll find out. I don't have a great feel. I've watched a ton of highlights of Booker. I've never seen him in person on my own like Ryan did last week. So we'll see.
Rich Searing up next. Number 1, even after emailing my Twitter questions, Graham still left me out. WTF conspiracy. 2, if Devin Royal commits and nobody leaves early, Izzo gets his second natty 2 years from now. 3, MSU will have a better overall football team this year, but end up with a worse record than last year. And bonus. When a recruit wants to commit, they should be allowed to sign on the spot and end all of the guessing between verbal and letter of intent.
Yeah, I definitely think there should be a different system. I don't want them signing on a spot just because I think 17-year-olds, like when they go on a recruiting visit, do Well, yeah, if you sign, you're in. But I think there should be, a 2-week window, or maybe there should be more windows when you can sign. I don't know. It's a good question. They should also have, obviously, the ability to get out if coaching staff changes or circumstances change from what they were recruited to. And Rich, I apologize, and we've talked about this.
I wanted to put him in, Rich, and he said no. So
that is not.
I don't know.
That is not what happened at all.
Graham Couch. BPA, number 1. Booker is a more explosive Jaren Jackson, which means Izzo is in the portal right now looking for the next Ben Carter. 2, Booker may get Hogard and draft a draft combine invite in 2024. And 3, forget Darube. Any story that includes getting embarrassingly kicked out of somewhere, only to sneak back in and still accomplish the mission, is money. Damn the man, always.
Appreciate you, BPA.
Yeah. I'd still think it was ass, but it's not as bad as the oatmeal story.
It could have been delivered better, but I suck.
I think it's because I've heard it like 3 times.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like, I looked up at the clock and it was like, man, it's been like 10 minutes, I think.
Yeah. Well, the Booker Jaren Jackson comparisons I'm hearing a lot, and Jaren Jackson's a pretty explosive athlete, and
but they have a big wingspan and they're both 7 feet tall. And
yeah, I think Booker's a little shade under 7, but he's got the 7'4" wingspan. He's built more like Jaren Jackson certainly than Marcus Bingham, and there's a lot of skill there. Now, again, I think he will be a guy who is an impact guy in a number of ways, the way Jaren Jackson was. But Jaren Jackson, if you remember, he was a great defensive player, but he was figuring it out a lot of that year. You got the developmental year out of him. And the Syracuse game, as bad as that was, and people think all sorts of different things should have happened, Jaren Jackson was not good enough at that point to be the answer. And obviously it didn't work with Ben Carter. I'm one of the few people who thinks if they just hit some shots, that Ben Carter would have been the answer. I would have done more Ben Carter. But so the thing I think that's important about that team, though, is I think Booker can be part of what could be a very, very good team. We'll see, which pieces are still around after next year.
That's why you're the best, though. I think I would have went with more Ben Carter. Jesus. Gluten Weasel. Number 1, I'm not getting my hopes up until Xavier Brooks is introduced at Breslin.
Booker, sorry.
Booker. Books. That's his nickname. 2, poolside beers are better than golf beers, but not better than first beer after mowing beers. 3, extended tailgate hours will make student attendance worse. Or maybe not. I don't fucking know.
Well played, Gluten Weasel. This obviously we've seen the decommitments in basketball. This kid doesn't seem like that sort of kid, and there is the early signing period, so you don't have to wait that long. But I would say once November comes, you can kind of count on it because then he's signed and locked in. All right, let me ask you this: poolside beers, golf beers, or first beer after a mow? What's your favorite? When you were drinking, what was your favorite place to have a beer?
I would say golf course first. I'm not a big pool guy. I don't like sitting around the pool all day long. So pool beers, nah. What was the other option?
First beer after mowing the lawn.
I don't know. I usually drink during mowing the lawn.
I do.
So.
I am somebody like stares out at the lawn like I just did a great thing after I mow the lawn. So I know that feeling for sure.
Your yard's not that big.
No, it's
staring
not.
at it. To be honest with you,
It's just like I did something.
Yeah. Makes you feel like a man. Chris Eastlick up next. Number one, Graham responded to a news story about what he'd do if he won the lottery and the people he'd pay. I told him maybe he needs a full-time meteorologist for softball, and he ignored me. I can only assume he's more of a Darren Rockhold guy. What, you got him on mute?
I didn't realize. I missed it. I
Because he
apologize,
tweets like Magic
Chris.
Johnson.
Yeah,
You muted him?
I apologize, Chris.
2, this year's MSU basketball team and next year's with Xavier Booker and Fears are the real 2-year group. And 3, at least 2 of the kids MSU lost to name, image, and likeness deals on the recruiting trail will end up at MSU in the transfer portal after broken promises at other schools. And everyone's favorite bonus. I love to not be Magic Johnson on Twitter, but I don't know if the viewer world is ready for how I feel about Rob Manfred and the amount of Dominic Tony D tweets I'd like that would all of a sudden show up in their feed.
That's fair, Chris. You got to do the job.
You don't want Lats after dark tweets either.
No, yeah, you don't.
After 10 o'clock.
No, that's why Chris and others, and you're always welcome to DM us your tweets. But,
DM Graham.
DM me because that we'll get them in, and not everybody has to see them. If you want your personality here to be different than it maybe is on Twitter,
And then we can read them on air.
yeah, right. But okay, a couple things here. One, I do think with the NIL deals, I think this is something that I think Mel Tucker believes. I think coaches more and more are believing that what's really in these NIL deals, because they've seen some of them, isn't what the players think they're getting and what the players' families think they're getting, and that's going to lead to a lot of upset kids. It's almost never actually $1 million, and so even if it winds up being $200K or something like that, if it doesn't feel like what you were promised, that's going to lead to a lot of kids who are unhappy. And I do think there are going to be lots of kids who wind up in the portal based on NIL deals that weren't exactly, and also choosing places that weren't ideal. You know, one of the things that I used to talk to Sadi Washington when he was at Oakland about this, and I've talked to other coaches at other places, but Washington would say when he was coaching Oakland, he would watch kids, he would recruit kids that he knew they weren't going to get the first time around. And he'd watch them make a horrible decision based on the fit and everything they wanted, and then he just knew they'd be there for them when they transferred. And Oakland sort of built a basketball program around that. You're going to see that with coaches who really master the transfer portal. It's continuing to recruit kids and keep that relationship and just say, hey, we're here if things don't work out there. Because if you're making a decision for money, and then the money's not as good as you thought, and you're not really happy with the situation, you're going to want to leave, especially if there's no repercussions for leaving and no deterrent. And so I think that's going to be a bigger part of things. I'm fascinated to see how much money impacts this, how many recruiting, and how many kids, as we get deeper into this, how much of the truth comes out about how much these NIL deals really are worth. And I think it's going to be fascinating to watch.
Andrew Gauthier up next. Number 1, tough day for the Izzo doesn't have it anymore crowd. 2, a lot of prop bets were lost on Izzo manning a 5-star ahead of Tuck. 3, in Izzo we trust. We're back, baby.
I think I was the one who did say that MSU's next recruit will be a basketball commitment. So
You did?
pledge. I did on this show. Yeah.
Was it a hot take?
I don't remember. It was within our hot take scenarios. Yeah. No, it was it was me responding to a Twitter question. The question was, who will be the next, I think, 4-star or whatever 5-star they get? And I said it'll be a
Xavier Booker.
I like donuts. No, I'm just mocking myself. That's not even nice. The Izzo doesn't have any more crowd. I mean, some of those, there are some people are really just I think are sick of Izzo, and this won't change their mind. But I do think there are others who this will be eye-opening, and this is one of those things where they landed a really big-time recruit, and it's hard to say he doesn't have it when they just did this. And the 2023 class looks like it does, and I think you can see the makings of a really good group. I think it's going to be a really good group this year, and I think the best thing that happened for this year's team was Booker committing or pledging, because that just, takes the angst away. If something goes wrong this year, people know the next year might even be better, right? It's not like this year's team doesn't have it and where the hell are they headed? It's like, let's see what this intriguing group can do. It just changes the tone about everything, and I think this team will benefit from that.
Don't coach my team.
Al up next. Number 1, Xavier Booker's decision will be a helpful influence on Devin Royal's recruitment. 2, the Lions will be a pleasant surprise this fall. And 3, Aaron Judge will not break Roger Maris's record this season for home runs.
He's got a chance, though. He's about on pace, right?
He might break Barry Bonds' record.
I don't think he'll do that. What is he at now? He's at, hold on one sec.
50 or something.
Aaron.
Got a ton. No, he's got 40, right?
Thanks for your patience.
So he's got 42 home runs right now, and you're about 100 games in.
Jesus, 62 more of these things?
Yeah, so, but, I mean, he's on pace to break Maris if he keeps it up. It's a hard pace to...
Are we ignoring Barry Bonds and McGuire and stuff like those guys?
Yeah, I mean, the question is, who do you view as the home run leader? I don't know. But I think in New York, Maris it would be a big deal, too. So, and that's probably one that is, because there are times... when Cecil Fielder hit 50, that was a big deal, breaking the 50 mark. Nobody'd done it in a while, and that was a huge deal. And so I do think now, post-steroid era, people will look at Maris's record as having that's a hell of an accomplishment to pass if you can do it, especially this year when they've taken the juice out of the ball.
Gavin Haas up next. Number 1, Izzo's recruiting. Back. 2, football. Back. And 3, Graham's subpar stories. Back.
Appreciate you, Gavin.
So it is subpar. We'll go subpar. It wasn't complete ass like I said the other day. I mean, I feel bad.
I'll settle for subpar.
Football's back. Jeff Haddis. Number 1, Izzo isn't back because he never left. 2, Dan Campbell is coach of the year. 3, Tuck coming. Bonus. Graham paid for his England trip with all his gambling winnings.
I will say this. I did cash out from the Firekeeper's iCasino and Sportsbook app, which I recommend anybody download. And I think I cashed out like $900, some of which was certainly being used on this trip. So,
can I borrow 100?
No.
Oh,
yes, of course you can borrow 100. You want $100? I'll give you $100.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
I'm not like you. If I had $1 billion,
what do you mean, dude? I had $43,000, and I might as well had $1 billion that day.
I know.
Or that month.
That's a great. That's
however long it lasted. Yeah, dude. I'd break people off left and right.
Was it?
I'd change lives like Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. I'd be like Elvis.
2 weeks in a duffel bag in a Jeep, $43,000. And how
it wasn't a duffel bag. It was a bank bag.
A bank bag. And so how much money do you have at the end of those 2 weeks?
Oh, no. I had the money for an extended period of time, but I had a shoebox of $100 bills that I would just open up and just grab a couple hundred for the day and see where it left me. So it lasted, I don't know. Then I had medical bills and all this other shit. So I think maybe 6 months. It was a good run.
It's a great run. And also a classic story we're telling presented by Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing, a great place for a date night, lunch with a colleague, weekend brunch. I think you'll love their menu. Go to midtownbrewing.net, and you can see their menu and their beer selection, and it's fantastic.
Go Green up next with just 1. Will this be Izzo's best class? How is this a hot take?
I don't know. I don't know if they understood the assignment, but we'll get into it anyway.
All right. Will this be Izzo's best class?
I would think it would be hard to do that. But, so say they get Devin Royal, and it winds up being, those are the 3 main components of the class with Jeremy Fears Jr. and Booker. That's a really great class. But he has had classes with, the 2016 class with Miles Bridges, Cassius Winston, Nick Ward, Joshua Langford. It's going to be tough to top the group, the 2-man class with Marcus Taylor and Zach Randolph. Zach Randolph. But, I guess it's important also now to judge classes on what they become and not what because you look at the 2018 class, they had 5 guys, so it was ranked kind of high, even though none of them were really top 50 guys. Everybody 50 to 100, and that class didn't pan out really that well. So how do you look at that class? You don't consider that a great class. So how it pans out, we'll tell you.
Clint One Ball Bainey up next. Number 1, for all these slapdicks that were panicking about his center for MSU Hoops next year, how you feeling now? 2, I just don't give a shit about the Tigers this year, and I don't feel bad about it. MSU secondary picks off at least one pass a game this year, and it's because of the defensive line, not the secondary.
I think those are two separate.
I was about to say.
Yeah, sorry.
Non sequiturs there.
Yeah.
3, I will be in the stadium in October when we take down the Buckeyes, and it's going to be a blowout. Now that's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
Yeah.
So, but if that were to happen, you called it here first.
Yeah, save that
one ball. Yeah. Let's go to the first part. I do think there's something with the center conversation with MSU basketball that's important to say. I still think Tom Izzo probably would have been wise to get like a graduate center this year. Now, there aren't a ton of guys with 1 year left you're going to go find and get. But I do also understand why he may not have wanted to bring in somebody with multiple years left. Now, if you've got a freshman like Jackson Kohler coming in, you're trying to get Booker to commit, and you're chasing him. If you don't want a roster situation where there looks like there's somebody in the way, and I'm not saying that was, again, I still think it would have been wise to bring in a seasoned veteran and go after some. And we don't know every conversation that was had. MSU, the transfer portal is a little different than high school recruiting, and I think there are a lot more quiet conversations that happen between guys and feeling out how much interest there is and fit and all that stuff. But I think that is something to consider when you think about anybody who would have been around more than 1 year.
Mike Scott up next. Number 1, Izzo's final year will be the Biker Fears freshman year. I don't know. He's going all in and then walking away. 2, having Avila run the draft and trade deadline is a move Dan Snyder would endorse. Or Bill Ford Sr., worst pro owners ever. Mike Ilitch is turning over in his grave. And 3, Man City will not tie Premier League this year. Can you take the field? And bonus. Graham's Ray Durham jersey story was great. Rube, you were way too harsh on that one. Maybe you should have popped another gummy or 3. So yeah, you're right. Should have.
He means Jeremiah Fears, and I don't know if that's.
And it came out Biker Fears.
I don't know if that's a nickname or what. I've not heard, but that would, if that's what he means, which would be what is Jeremiah's what is he? 2000.
This is what I see. Everybody stops and they staring
Hold on one
at
second.
me. I got
No problem.
passion in my pants and I ain't afraid to show it. Show it, show it, show it. I'm sexy and I know it.
Yeah, it's, 2025. So that would be.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. No. I have no idea when Izzo is going to be done. I think if he wins another title, he may feel like that's it. But you can at least count on 2 more years, I would say, after the developments of this weekend.
And by the way, Mike Scott, have you listened to the oatmeal story? I mean, we've done 730 shows, give or take 10 or 15. I've heard a lot of stories. I apologize, though. Ryan Schultz, number 1, even as a vet, I've made my share of mistakes as a pet parent. They happen to everybody, but for fuck's sake, don't let your dash hound get obese. Its back is already ass. All right. 2, Graham 69's an Iowa writer about how the West is just as good as the East. Then, when explaining why he predicts Nebraska would have a better record than Rutgers, his first point is, well, Rutgers plays in the East. I see you, Graham. 3, Iowa beats Michigan on a walk-off field goal October 1st, then loses 24-10 to Brett Bielema October 8th. And bonus wholesome take. I'll second the recommendation of Joe Pera Talks With You. Quaint, charming, 11-minute episodes. It's on HBO or Adult Swim.
Yeah, I need to get into this, and I appreciate all the recommendations. It is on a list to do. Might even do
11-minute episodes.
That's ideal, huh? It's good for.
I mean, that seems a little short.
Good for
25 or
short attention spans. But yeah, I guess you pop a Skyman, you get all the time in the world. You're good to go. Yeah, your second point on the West is as good as the East. And I do say it's an Ohio State problem, but Ohio State still is in the East, and Rutgers has to play them. So when you're talking about better record, I would. But yeah, the point is taken, Ryan.
Nick Palmer, number 1, Izzo was, is, and will be a dog at recruiting. 2, Nebraska is winning 8 games this year. And 3, the next Big Ten coaching rivalry is P.J. Fleck versus Brett Bielema. Those two personalities will not mix.
I can see Fleck and Bielema being sort of a thing.
Does Fleck and a lot of guys mix, though? He's kind of a different dude.
He is a different dude. But Bielema's, the problem is the other guy at least has to be a personality. Like, what's his nuts at Wisconsin? Christ is
Paul Christ. Yeah.
Is the least
gambling nightmare.
There's no personality at all, so he can't really be a rivalry of anybody because there's no, Hayden Fry or whatever his name is, Kirk Ferentz at Iowa. I mean, there's not a lot there in terms of personality. So I think Bielema, just appearance-wise, I mean, they're so opposite. Like, Flex, this guy is still kind of in shape. He's this, younger, suave guy who speaks a good game, and Bielema is a little sloppy. Looks like he breaks every chair he sits in. And so I feel like there's a chance for something there.
Oh, hold on.
I mean, Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
G.E. Miller, number 1, Booker's a great pledge, but won't have the impact of Bridges, Jackson Jr., or even Ward in his first year. More of an Adrian Payne-like project. 2, Izzo's is building a roster full of good point guards and bigs, but won't compete for a title unless he adds a top athletic wing in the mix.
Yeah, no, they've got to be athletic on the wing. We'll see what if they get Devin Royal, and I mean, because I think a guy like Jaden Akins, terrific athlete, will play a lot on the wing, but not you'd ideally like to have a guy who's 6'6", 6'7" who does that. The Brandon Dawson types of the world, obviously, but or Aaron Henry, even a little more size. So we'll see if he's able to land that. And I'm also very curious to see what Malik Hall looks like at the 3 and how that works, and how a guy with his size and skills does, and how much they actually stick with that. To your first point, G.E. Miller, though, I would disagree to this extent. One, Adrian Payne had loads of skills. Like, if you talk to people who watched him in practice as a freshman, draining threes, all the things you saw later on, he looked like a one-and-done kid, and then wasn't on the court. But a lot of that was just the cerebral issues. Like, he just didn't really see or have a feel for the game for a long time. And I don't know that, I would peg, Booker there. So that was Payne's issue. Payne was actually pretty far along athletically, just didn't grasp things all that quickly, I don't think.
Anthony Armour up next. Number 1, I know you guys have new listeners and need to repeat stories, but if I hear that White Sox autograph or the girlfriend story one more time, I will put a bazooka to my head.
Bazooka time.
I apparently have told that before, though. Yeah.
A few times, yeah. See, now I don't apologize then. Thank you, Anthony. 2, in Izzo, I trust. And 3, appreciate you guys. Hang in there. Football's almost back.
Appreciate you, Anthony.
I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be nice.
Hot takes are brutal.
I'm looking forward to that Sunday night, Labor Day weekend. It'll be fun. Everybody else,
I'm not.
Everybody else is off, and
but watching football, and then you come in here. And
we're on Sunday night. Yeah, you're right.
It's other Lions lost. Yeah. Kurt Wisniewski. Number 1, Xavier Booker pledging to MSU basketball, and Izzo restarts the student-athlete commitment train to MSU sports. 2, the University of Alabama campus is beautiful, but moving there for school in July is hot, sweaty ass. And 3, Avila will be the GM for your Detroit Tigers in 2023. Complete ass. Ass with $sign.
I really do think the fans, if Avila sticks around another year, they're going to be very close to a revolt. Like, the only way...
Not close. There has to be.
Yes. The only way it works for Avila, and he's going to have conversations with Illich, like, this offseason would have to be like a couple, the Maglio Pudge type signings that you go, okay, they're.
But if
they're
Illich wants to
around.
spend, let's go in a different direction though.
And yes,
why
totally.
let Avila go spend around? He's shown that he can't.
He can't be the guy. He can't be the guy. And people,
there's no getting out of this for Avila.
No. At this point, he's absolutely cooked.
And if he comes back for 2023, fans better not show up to those games. That's all I'm saying.
We missed Dan Rankin.
Oh shit, Dan, I'm sorry. Number 1. Sports card collecting was a perfect July topic. Rube dropped the ball. Well, I'm sorry, man. I mean, I would talk about it. When I'm going to talk with Graham or something, he's going to stare at me. 2, the Booker Fears class will be Izzo's last chance at a title before he retires. And 3, wooden roller coasters suck. Where do they have a wooden roller coaster?
I've been on a where the
is that Cedar Point still?
Cedar Point has one, don't they? Because I feel like I was
they
on
got
a
rid of
one.
that piece of shit though.
Yeah, I did
because it used to
when I was a
clang
kid.
you around. I remember it's been like 15 years.
Yeah,
they had it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I had an okay experience in a couple of them. I've never been a huge roller coaster guy to begin with.
What was your good experience in one? Like, what do you mean?
It was Cedar Point. Well, I just enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. And I don't even like roller coasters that much, so it wasn't that daring.
So that's why you
me.
liked it.
Yeah. Every time I get off a roller coaster, I always say, that wasn't so bad. I never say that was fun.
But they're not scary because the scary part of them is that you think they're going to fall over. It's not like, you go down and you're like, oh, they're sad.
Yeah,
they're old rides that people are nostalgic about. Get rid of them.
And every once in a while there are, a car that's taped off and you wonder what happened to that person. Well, how did they know that car is broken? Like that's always my question. I'm not
dead.
I'm not. Yeah. And here's the thing I would say about the Booker's Fierce class being Izzo's last chance at a title. It would fear that it would seem that that's a good opportunity. And again, you don't know how long those guys will be around. So if you're talking, if Fierce plays 2-3 years and Booker plays 1 or 2, I mean that could be 3 years down the road. But the other thing is we don't know what we don't know. We don't know what 2024 is going to bring. We don't know. I think there have been moments where it's felt like that with Izzo before, and so it's hard to know.
Kurt Wisniewski.
We did that one.
Oh, we did that. Jarrett, number 1, college starting classes 3 weeks before football season starts should be a crime. 2, only way Booker is a success for Izzo's legacy to win a natty if he stays more than 1 year. And 3, thanks for keeping me entertained on my drive back to school. I-75 is awful to drive.
Appreciate you, Jarrett. Thanks for listening. Yes, college 3 weeks before football season starts does suck. Are people already back in school places for college?
Yeah, but did they really ask anything of you in those 3 weeks? If you just show up and
still you got to
breathe, pay attention.
Yeah, I mean,
they
ask the same thing of you that they ask you the rest of the year. You got to do stuff.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
that does blow. Though.
Yeah, it's no good. The idea that he's have to stay more than 1 year to help Izzo's legacy and win a title. Again, I don't think he has to be the centerpiece of that team 2 years from now. If you have a roster 2 years from now, and there are going to be guys who have to make a decision. Malik Hall will have that extra year if he wants it. Where would Jaden Akins be? Where would A.J. Hoggard be in their development? If they have amazing years this next year, who knows? They could be in line, draft picks. But otherwise, if you've got Akins and Hoggard back, you may have. I mean, Tyson Walker will have to make a decision whether he wants to do another year. That COVID year makes it really hard to predict rosters. And same with some of the, it's unclear the development where certain guys will be. So he may not have to be the centerpiece of anything. He can just be a really good piece that helps him athletically. But and that team 2 years from now has a chance. I also think this year's team this year is going to has a chance to be. That's why I made the bet about the Manzier, the bro, whatever it is. And
thong.
No thongs.
There's a thong bet, isn't there?
There's no thong bet.
Oh.
Why would there be a thong bet?
I don't know. I thought we did a thong bet on something else, too. I thought you doubled down.
Not do a thong bet.
Listen, I don't want that to happen either.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Right.
These people are on Facebook. They don't have to,
Jesus. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't pick this team, to be a top 10 team necessarily out of the chute. But what I mean is when you look at the rest of the Big Ten, this team will have a shot to be in the conversation for a championship if things go right. They've got more returning pieces than a lot of people. Now, I think the Big Ten will be down a little bit, but this could be a Sweet 16 type of group, and you've seen groups that then get there and make a run. Now, I know I said that a year ago, so I should just shut the fuck up and we'll
Molon Lobby Spartan, number 1. I'll preface this by saying I'll be happy if I'm wrong. However, Xavier Booker looks closer to Marcus Bingham than Jaren Jackson. For a number 2 player, he looks to have a lot of work to do. No way he's one and done.
It's all about what the NBA sees you as promise and how a kid sees himself. I mean, look at Max Christie. He saw himself as a pro, and he got a decent guaranteed money. And I don't know where we'll get to know Xavier Booker and his priorities and see what kind of time he has. I mean, look, there are guys who are really high draft picks who don't necessarily go or want to go, and Jaren Jackson was one of those. He didn't want to go. But I have no idea what he'll be by the time he gets to Michigan State more than a year from now.
Mr. Neurotic Pants. Number 1, if you recruit 5 stars who turn out to be duds, you're still not a great recruiter. Cough, cough, Foster lawyer, Hauser. 2, the president of the Big Ten is a cynical, fairly transparent greedhead. I hope the catering was good. And 3, the Chad Latz interview needs to happen.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm in.
Yeah. No. Same.
He seems to not know about the podcast, even though people say, "Hey, I loved your song on Couch in the Rube," and he goes, "Oh, never heard of it." That's
that
the end of
recent?
it. Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't know if I mean, he's a part of a bit that he doesn't understand he's part of, and I don't know.
What's the bit? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What's the bit?
What's the bit?
We play his songs instead of Hasselhoff.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean that's
classics.
To your first one though, Mr. Neurotic Pants, Foster Lawyer, and I mean Joey Hauser was a 4-star recruit. Foster Lawyer was ranked? I mean he was borderline. 70ish or something like that. These guys were not ranked in the top 5. Nobody thought Foster Lawyer was that player. Now, there was lots of talk. Can Foster Lawyer play with Cassius Winston now? What are they going to do with both of them? Like, there was lots of that stuff. But nobody thought Foster Lawyer was a top 5 recruit in the country. There's a big difference. And, yes, that class wound up being a pretty big whiff.
Dylan Owens, number 1, MSU secondary is worse than last year statistically. 2, MSU's football team doesn't have anyone drafted until the 3rd day from this year's team. And 3, Peyton Thorne isn't the starter by the end of the season.
Whoa. Well, these are hot takes.
Man.
Hot takes.
Because he's injured or because he's playing bad?
Yeah. No, if Peyton Thorne isn't the starter for the end of the season because he has lost the job, then this is a bad season for Michigan State. Yeah.
Burn that ticket.
It's a bad year. It's a bad year. Because I don't see that happening if anything's going obviously well. The secondary thing will be interesting though, because I think they played last year in certain ways to save themselves from, and they still got crushed sometimes. I think they'll be more aggressive this year, and that'll lead to some certain things that'll go wrong occasionally. But I think ultimately most stats that matter will show that this year's group is better than last year's group.
South of Munn, number 1, listening to people who live in the North complain about the heat is ass. 2, living in the South is ass. And 3, MSU football will not win a national championship in the next 10 years, but will enjoy many 10 and 11 win seasons, which will be fun to watch.
Okay, let's get into this. So if over the next 10 years, Michigan State, and by many, let's say 6. Is that what many? What do you think many? What defines many? 6, 5?
More than 5.
Okay. So let's say 6 times in the next 10 years, they win at least 10 games, but don't win a national championship. There's probably a Big Ten championship in there. There's probably a playoff berth or 2. I think people would be okay. I think one of the things that will help college football tremendously is once they get to an expanded playoff, which I still think is going to wind up being 12. I know they put the 16 thing out there. 12 makes a lot more sense in a lot of ways. You also get better first-round matchups by not having those, the 1-16s. And I just think it's an easier count. I think the whole thing works better at 12, and I think that's where they'll wind up. And I think the other thing that's cool at 12 is you wind up getting to the playoff will still be hard enough that it'll feel great. It'll be something that you've accomplished. And that for a lot of people will be, that was a playoff year. That was.
But when he says not MSU football will not win a national championship, but does it mean compete like you make the playoff?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a 12-team playoff too, you might be in the playoff. You might win a playoff game if you're,
how do you turn that down? What's the alternative? I guess honest, obviously win a national championship, but I think I would take a decade of.
What I'm just saying, do you think people will be satisfied with that? I think they would. I think they absolutely would. People obviously want a national championship, but I think if Michigan State is a perennial 10-win team, I mean that's hard to do, and gets in the playoff a couple times, wins a playoff game somewhere, wins a Big Ten championship here and there. And I think also importantly, it's how they're faring against Michigan. And that, keep in mind, with Mark D'Antonio, before he really flipped and got the program rolling, he flipped the script on that rivalry. And that people felt good about that. And if you're better than your brethren down the road, people are okay with a lot of things.
If you keep getting to the college football playoff and getting annihilated, though, I mean, you want to compete
be
with the big boys
no doubt.
At some point and not lose like 41-3 or some shit like that.
No doubt. People want to know they belong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. JD, number 1, Izzo coming. 2, Hinch will be fired before Avila.
Whoa.
3, at least one of Jay Johnson or Scotty Hazelton will be fired at the end of the season. Wow.
I don't see it being Jay Johnson. I doubt it'll be Hazelton. I mean, I don't know, but Jay Johnson is I think got it going there a little bit, and I'm curious to see. I think they're going to be even more creative this year, and they know what they have now too, with a lot of their skill position players.
Will it be interesting to see how Tucker handles that though? If there starts to like one of the coordinators, one of the like the defense or something like that struggles again, does he make a move?
I mean, yeah, he got rid of a fairly well liked. I mean, he didn't get rid of him, but there was a parting of the ways with a fairly well liked defensive line coach who'd been good for the program for a long time.
He was a great guy
because they wanted to make a move that they thought would help the program. I don't think Mel Tucker will hesitate to help the program and make moves that he feels is necessary.
That was a little bit of an easier move, though, wasn't that one?
Totally.
Yeah.
But if one side of the ball is struggling, I do not think, especially if you're a coach who's been a defensive coordinator and you're on a staff with other defensive coordinators, like I just don't see, especially on the defensive side of the ball, like, I mean, he knows what he thinks is good, and that's one of the things that I always thought with D'Antonio too, and I sort of trust with Tucker the same way is, if they don't, and D'Antonio, the argument was he was so loyal that you never knew whether somebody really deserved to be someplace. But with Mel Tucker, if the defense is struggling, but Tucker is sticking by a coordinator, he obviously thinks it's the pieces they don't have yet more than the coordinator that's the problem, right? And I think so.
But I think Tucker and D'Antonio both know that loyalty will get you fired. But D'Antonio just was like, I'm going down with my guys, right? I just hope Tucker's not the same way.
Yep.
The Youper, number one. I don't understand the nostalgia for the Pistons teal jerseys. I hated them the first time, too. 2, is there any other state with multiple directional schools as decent in athletics as Central Michigan and Western over a pretty sustained time period? And 3, a question, can a question be a hot take?
Well, it can if you list it here. Well, let's do number 2 here. I don't know that when you say Central and Western having decent as athletics, versus the same period, are there other states with multiple directional schools? There probably are. We just don't pay attention to them because nobody pays attention to the directional schools in other states all that often. And nobody knows, Louisiana Lafayette and those types of programs in Texas and, in other places. I mean, obviously, Central and Western in football have had pretty decent runs, and football is a priority up here. They've had some good seasons lately, but I don't know that they stand out above other places that are similar.
Professor up next. Number 1, the teal Pistons jerseys are ugly. What about the 90s is worth remembering for that franchise? 2, Cassius Winston is going to have a 10-year career overseas and make up for missing NIL money. And 3, the NBA should bring back the one-on-one tournament they used to do in the 70s for $1 million prize.
Would you watch an NBA one-on-one tournament?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I won't either.
No. They used to. I remember they had it on pay-per-view. It was like Dr. J versus Kareem. Like back then it was great, but now I don't know. A one-on-one tournament?
So the teal jerseys, well, first of all, the 1990 was definitely worth remembering. That was the year they won the second title. But I get your point. I mean, there were moments. I think the nostalgia comes from whatever age you are. And if you were 15, 12 years old, and when those jerseys started.
What year were they out?
They started, I think, in 96, I want to say.
Yeah. So what? I was 17. I didn't like them back then. But if people dig them, I don't really care. I remember Allen Houston modeling them, and I don't think he ever played them. And I was a huge Allen Houston fan. Drink if you've heard this story before.
Yeah, I'll just shut the hell up. No, I'm just saying. I understand the nostalgia. I don't have the nostalgia for them. I'm a little older, and I have nostalgia for the Bad Boys era. But another story not worth telling. But presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company.
Ron Quixote, number 1, seeing recruits' parents like Rita Hall actively recruit other kids and parents by hyping up MSU on Twitter is a testament to the type of program Mel's building and the athletes they attract. Love it. 2, Booker grows an inch to nearly 7 feet before football or before next year. Why did I say football?
I don't know.
You're trying to just mess with me today.
I didn't edit that one. I
apologize.
I was watching a soccer game, and I had some money on it as I was doing these, and I got distracted.
All right, fair. 3, Jon Stewart for president.
Jon Stewart would be an interesting presidential candidate because I think he would get some attention, and
He's not going to do it.
He wouldn't do it. He has no interest in it. But he would be an interesting candidate, and I'm not saying he would be a bad candidate entirely either. And after Trump won, I no longer think the celebrity candidate can't do it. So,
Garage takes up next. Number 1, Lions will be must-see TV on Hard Knocks. Dan Campbell might say something stupid or hilarious or completely off the wall, and I'm here for it. 2, I would rather have Mel Tucker coaching my team than Ryan Day. And 3, Main Street Pizza in Ovid is the best pizza in mid-Michigan. I don't know.
Have you had it before?
Yeah, I live there, dude.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, so
we live like literally 5 minutes from it.
Okay.
It's not the best pizza in mid-Michigan.
Okay.
I love you, Main Street.
Yeah, unless you become a sponsor, then no, just kidding.
Start.
Just kidding. I mean the Lions thing on Hard Knocks, I'm absolutely here for it too. I think Dan Campbell is as interesting a character as Detroit sports have had come into the coaching scene in a long time.
Great.
I don't know if he's a great coach yet, but he's entertaining, and I feel like he represents the organization pretty well.
Yeah.
And he makes it. I don't think, people are making fun of the kneecaps thing, but I ultimately think he left last year with a pretty decent reputation. I don't think he'll make the Lions look like buffoons on this.
I don't know if many people are making fun of it. It's just, it's just football. He's just a football guy.
Yeah.
Right? Just a lovable football guy. I hope he does well here. Please, I hope so.
And here's the thing. I would like Mel Tucker to me, not Mel Tucker, Dan Campbell to me seems like a decent dude. And so I would like him to wind up being the guy who works out for the Lions. But obviously, if he's not a great coach, then that doesn't work.
Jeffrey Daly, next. Number 1, MSU football wins more games than it loses this year. 2, MSU basketball wins more games than it loses this year. And 3, Ohio State wins the Big Ten. And lastly, I would do a bonus take, but my fingers are burning from those hot takes.
Well played, Jeffrey.
Oh, that's it?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. I thought you were going to try to break those down. You put them in here for a reason.
I do think Ohio State, may run away with this Big Ten more than other years. This feels like a year where they're pissed off about what happened about Michigan. They've got the goods to do it. They have 75% of their roster back. They've got the quarterback back. They've got a first-round pick receiver. It just feels like a year it could get ugly for a lot of people.
Revenge tour for Ohio State?
It feels like that. Yeah, I don't know that this is a great year. I wouldn't poke the bear. I would not talk trash before you play this team.
Reigning Big Ten football champs. Up next. Seeing as name, image, and likeness is real, and MSU has 1, Magic Johnson worth $620 million. 2, Dan Gilbert worth $20 billion. And 3, Matt Ishbia, $12 billion. All are as obvious basketball fans as former players and NBA owners who've shown great interest in the program. Shouldn't MSU be recruiting better in basketball?
They just landed a top 5 recruit. And, again, they're not out there paying recruits, and that's not something they're going to do. So I don't know. And Ishbia is giving them a certain amount of money, a certain cut. But
what do you mean they're not going to pay?
Well, I do not think
give you an actual amount. Say we're going to pay you this. I mean, they're going to get paid.
I do not. They're going to once they arrive, they're going to have opportunities.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to see the stuff that you're seeing with collectives paying recruits at MSU. Based on the compliance people I've talked to, they're just not going to. They're not going to stand for it, and we'll see.
But if Gilbert and Ishbia want to get in this $1 billion, whose dick's bigger? I mean, why not? If they want to give you money to pay these guys, pay them. I mean, that's what it's all about right now. Until there's rules put in place, let's spend. I guess why not? Kevin from Rochester Hills. Number 1, Aaron Judge will break home run record and test positive for steroids. 2, Judge will be a Tiger next year and take them to the World Series. And 3, Booker reopens his recruitment and ends up at Eastern Michigan to play with Amani.
That would be a story.
Worth telling.
I mean, right? Yeah, story we're telling presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company. What the Tigers do need more than anything is an Aaron Judge. They need that juice of a star. And yes, there's the hope that Riley Green becomes that homegrown or something like that happens. Like Aaron Judge was with the Yankees. But they really do need to sign a guy that makes you go, oh. Because that's what, the last iteration of the Tigers rebuild with Mike Ilitch, it was that Pudge signing that you went, oh, they're being serious. And then it was Maglio, right? And it just sort of, and then they do the trade for Cabrera. They were all in all the time. And you just felt it, and it created a buzz, and it's just completely lacking right now. There's just, the They are fourth by a long way right now in the confidence meter, I think, with Detroit.
And we
Pro
didn't
Sports.
think that a couple months ago.
We did not. It didn't feel like that coming in. And I bet you they're a little surprised too. And sometimes you might have had a plan and that other people thought, that on paper looked okay before the season, and it turns out not to be, and you deserve to get fired. And that's okay. He deserves to get fired at this point. It didn't work out.
Do you think A.J. Hinch is surprised, though? I mean, he probably knew, man, if we have a couple injuries, I'm effed. Had to have.
Yeah, and most
Miggy
of them
batting fourth in this lineup.
But most of them have been to the pitching staff. Like the bats have been shit with no excuses.
Unbelievably bad. Plus size softball dad. Number 1, Walker hit a lot of flaws in last year's offense. 8 wins, the ceiling this season. 2, too much of last year's passing game was, fuck it, Jaden down there somewhere. Credit to Colton for that phrase. And 3, I'm the biggest Chicken Little Spartan fan in America.
The Walker did hide a lot of flaws. The idea, though, is that you don't have as many flaws this year. Like you've got like if you think of who Peyton Thorne was in that Northwestern game versus who you're hoping he is this year, you're hoping you have a very, different quarterback to start the year. So the hope is you just got a more seasoned program and seasoned team, and that while Walker did exactly that last year, there are fewer flaws to hide right now, and I don't think 8 wins are the ceiling for this team. I really don't. Now, we haven't seen them yet. We haven't seen the offensive line. We haven't seen some of the other teams they're playing. But if you told me this was a team that won 9 or 10 games, I could believe you. Absolutely.
Jordan Mack up next. Number 1, Graham's MSU fandom never left. Last show, he said Harbaugh hasn't recruited well as of late, yet they just finished last year with a top 10 class and have one less 4-star than MSU, who Graham thinks is recruiting lights out and will finish behind Michigan in a year. Harbaugh took NFL interviews. 2, Xavier Booker to MSU will be the last major recruit Izzo gets to always underachieving with them. Christie would have been drafted higher had he sat out last year rather than playing in Izzo's offense. Booker's draft stock will take a hit. And 3, Stevie from Eastbound and Down is the best TV character of all time.
Jordan is a Michigan fan, if you don't know. It's
it sounds like what I heard on the golf course. Like number 2 is the exact shit. Izzo.
So,
and I'm just like, all right.
We got to address one here. Well, first of all, he's right about Christie in that sense, but that's not Izzo's fault. I mean, you can say there are more innovative offenses, but you saw the same struggles from Caleb Houston at Michigan, who was, might have been better off not playing last year either in terms of his stock. That's what happens sometimes. That's why, you can say with Max Christie, for example, that he'll say, I'm betting on myself going to the NBA. You're also chickening out a little bit, because to bet on yourself would also be to come back, because you might be a lottery pick if you come back and perform and take that next step. The flip side is if you come back and you have another year like you had as a freshman year, then all the intrigue about you, all the sort of the everything you had, the hype coming out of high school is gone, and then you've got a real problem. So you're not really betting on yourself when you go to the NBA. You're betting on yourself to a degree, but you're also taking out some of the risks. To the first point, I should address Michigan has not had a banner recruiting this year. When I say recruited as of late, I mean this year. Michigan is a bigger brand than Michigan State in football, and they've historically recruited quite a bit better than MSU and won the signing days, and they ought to, based on who they are. And so that shouldn't be the head-to-head comparison for Michigan. For Michigan State, recruiting slightly better than Michigan is a big deal. It's telling. That has nothing to do with fandom never left or whatever. I mean, that making that comment is has nothing to do with that.
Eastbound and Down, ever seen it?
I have. Not a
Powers?
lot, but great.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Bo McJunkins, number 1, the Castellanos booze question was a stupid question and lazy. Of course he can hear booze. You're lucky to have credentials. Be better. 2, Paula's friend Kathy Redmond needs to get a life. Saying Tom Izzo missed red flags on Miles, get the hell out of here. 3, last week you said everyone on a Big Ten team should get at least 1 star. No. Unranked is not 0 stars. 1 star would mean they were rated. They are not. So no stars makes sense.
the Kathy Redmond tweet, and Kathy Redmond, somebody who does not like Izzo.
Who's Kathy Redmond?
She's she's a sexual assault survivor and sort of advocate for victims, and she is somebody who, though I respect her in certain ways, also says a lot of irresponsible things. Sometimes she'll you can tell Paula got a hold of her and said, "Hey, take that down" or whatever. But she just speaks out of turn and says things that are irresponsible because she lets the emotions get the best of her. And
Paula Levine does her Twitter, tells her.
No, they're just friends, and there's no question that what she said about Izzo was completely fucking out of bounds, and that's the type of stuff that I've told her that before a little bit when things have happened. But the big problem with it is people will use her as a source in stories and stuff. When you do this stuff like that, you can't be used ever again as a source. You can't be, because you kill your credibility. You can't be taken seriously. It was a cheap shot, and it's way too serious an issue. There are lots of people who, first of all, we don't know 100% yet what happened in the Miles bridges. That'll go to trial, or that'll come out, and we'll get a better feel for that. But there are lots of people you think you know, but you really don't know what goes on in their personal life to that degree, in their relationships, I just it was way out of bounds without question.
Jay Riemenschneider up next. Jason Nick, and I quote, "They should let you go ahead of Kevin Warren and explain to everyone what they should be doing. Here's Graham Couch to alert the media of what you're doing wrong." So true and damn funny. Graham would cherish that opportunity. Traffic and waiting in line crowds. There may not be anything in the world I hate more than those. Oh, wait. Dumbass idiots. And 3, make sure you find your way over to the Speyside to bring me back some rare single malts.
That must be someplace in England. What is it?
It's not in Ovid, so you're going to England. So
yeah, must be. Oh yeah, it's in. Okay, all right. I will. We'll give it a look. Thanks,
what did you think he was talking about, though?
I didn't know. I can tell with this one. I forgot to put the numbers by it. This is right when DC United scored in the 90th minute. I was messing with this, and I got distracted.
So what you're saying is you don't care about the show.
That's not what I said.
That's pretty much what you just said.
That's not at all what I said.
Ken Chu up next. Number 1, summer's not over till the lakes freeze. 2, East Lansing NIL Club would raise more money if access passes were more like $50. And 3, it's National Avocado Day.
These 3 are just all over the place. Thank you, Ken.
How is that a take, though? It's National Avocado Day.
There is an argument that you'd want different levels of membership with the East Lansing NIL Club. And you could, because
what do you get currently?
You get. They just did something the other night where you're interacting with them. They're answering your questions. It's almost like a Zoom thing with all of them. Hold on, let me see what the.
I got you.
Yeah.
Shake a tail feather. Oh no, I heard them bad boys coming. Can't stop now, gotta continue my running. Yeah, cause we gonna party till the lights come on. And if my song stop, fuck it, cause my mic's still on. Yo, I'm the big booty type, I like them thick with their mind right. Bang them personality, conversate when the time right. I'm not hard, I got women to handle that. They be like he the man when I'm really a Thundercat. Come on.
All right, so I don't have the exact thing. I don't want to sign up my email address and all this stuff.
Go ahead, I got it. Music.
Yeah, thanks. But anyway. But there is an argument to be made, and you talk about this in any sales business, that sometimes it's better to have, a lot of quantity, and it, sometimes it's better to have fewer and make more. But in this situation, I think if you told fans they could have access to you to a smaller degree for $50, and they felt like they were contributing to you directly, almost like you do when you go to games and you pay for a ticket or a seat license, that you might get a lot more people. And you could just have different levels to the point that, you just did something once a month where you gave them some access that they wouldn't otherwise, and then had premium levels. And they may have some of that. I haven't gone through everything that they have available. I think it's a cool, creative idea. We'll see, exactly.
Is it a monthly membership, or you pay a one-time fee, or?
Oh, Jesus, why are you going to ask me?
I don't know.
I thought you knew. Dude, I didn't look this up, man. Come on, you're making me sound like an ass.
No. Wasn't my intention. I just thought.
Right. No, I haven't looked at all the details. But right now they're trying to sell 4,000 passes. I think they've got 514 sold. And hold on, give me some more.
Connect like Voltron, collect so much grass, people thinking we mow lawns. My cold hands don't match that, but it matches her head, wrapping the seats that I got in the lack. I'm just a juvenile, 'cause I be about G's. Keep the women wheezy me, they say they have my babies. I'm young like Turk, I like the cash and the money. And I'm not old.
That's tired.
I don't know what's going on there. Yeah.
Come on. I'm sexy and I know
All right,
it.
I'll get into it later. I don't want to sign up for everything right now to find out all the deals. I just don't want to be logged in like that. Anyway, so but it is something that I'll look into more exactly. I think it's a one-time. It's a membership. It might be annual, or maybe it's a one-time payment for this year. I'm not exactly sure, and I feel like a jackass for not knowing. I should know.
Max Spade up next. On a sweltering hot day, number 1, a pool is better than the beach. 2, a boat is better than a pool. And 3, a trip to the bidet is not nicer than the beach, the pool, or a boat, but it's more refreshing and effective.
Fair. Pool is better than the beach. A boat is better than the pool. I would.
Nah.
I give. No.
It depends. If you're using someone else's boat and you just show up and hop on it, if you have to do all that boat stuff yourself,
the boat's pretty good though. I like.
It's not bad. Yeah. That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Tyrone Couch, number 1. Graham catches a lot of shit, and it's funny at times, but we are lucky most of his takes are better than the pledge take. Even if that one is valid, I'm still waiting for the oatmeal story since I missed it the first time around. Then I may reevaluate my stance.
You've got it if we ever really need it. I don't.
It's right there.
Yeah.
It's 3 minutes and 8 seconds of goodness.
We can make it like a Patreon type thing. You can sign up for the oatmeal story.
Wow, what a prize. You get to hear the oatmeal story. 2, Pistons teal jerseys are about as cool as the Michigan Bumblebee uniforms and the Script State. Not sure why I have never liked the Script State. And 3, recruiting and GPAs need to be fixed. There should be one scale. A Michigan 5-star bring a Florida 3-star is stupid. Just rank them how they are, and none of this 90 is an A bullshit. 93 will always be an A. Just stupid.
There are weird recruiting things with, rankings, and one of the things I found when going back through Michigan State football recruiting rankings is there were years that Michigan State had just as many top 400 kids as they do now, but fewer 4-stars. And and how these kids are. I mean, it's I don't know. Yeah. No, I'm not a huge. You know how I feel about some. Now I do believe that 5 stars are. You got to have them to win a national title, and I do believe that stars do matter to a degree. I just think there's a lot of bullshit in the rankings universe.
Mr. Benjen, number 1. Last week you said everyone on a Big Ten team should get at least 1 star. No, wait, I read these already?
I think you did, but
did I read that one? I read that one.
Yeah. Wait a second. Yeah, go to 2.
All right. Screw the LSJ Tech team.
Ouch.
I'm marginally enjoying the latest article, and halfway down a massive black box covers half the screen, pitching another article, often old. That sucks. Turn this off for subscribers at least. Idiots.
It's a fair complaint. If you're a subscriber, I will listen to any complaint you have, and I will pass it along.
3, speaking of Basic Instinct, I went to Blockbuster to get it, got dirty looks from a stuck-up lady, embarrassingly ran up to check it out under my parents' account, got it home, and it was played so much that the scene was as clear as the Skinamax Scramble. Fuck VHS.
Well, okay, let's go back to the days of the video store.
Why would you get a dirty look, though? Like, how would she know?
Did you ever, as a teenager, because I know you purchased porn in a hotel, did you ever go and purchase a movie that you thought, I don't want people to recognize me getting this?
Never.
Okay.
No, I was more embarrassed about buying like People Magazine and In Touch Magazine, to be honest with you. I'd put those face down. Porn, I didn't give a shit. Like,
okay.
I would go in there. Now, when you go into like the Family Video, which was always hilarious to me because there's a porn section in Family Video, and they had those like creaky saloon doors that you'd have to go through. That, I will say, that was embarrassing. But as soon as I rented it and got it out the door, I didn't really care. But that was
how often
kind of a weird
how often
vibe.
did you do it?
Oh, all the time. What do you mean? Well, dude, you couldn't get porn all the time. Like, you couldn't just look down on your phone and get porn. So, yeah, of course. One of the worst things, though, is when my roommate and I, we had VHS, like a community VHS thing there. And when you put one in, like, you could see where he, like, left off. And I was like, Oh my God, dude, really? But that's VHS days. You don't have to worry about that anymore.
That is a story worth telling, presented by our friends at Midtown Brewing Company, 402 South Washington Avenue in downtown Lansing. An unbelievable place for a beer after work. I love their menu, and I think they do amazing things there. They try new things all the time, and their brunch menu is fantastic. Happy hour, and their drink selection. Like, I love the American Stout, but they've got fantastic beers there. Good place to watch a game, too, right in downtown Lansing. And I'm telling you, it's a date night that won't be a cliche, right? It's not it's not the place that's the chain that you always go to. Like, it's a great date night right here in downtown Lansing, Midtown Brewing Company. Go to midtownbrewing.net to check out their menu and drink selection.
Get a nice meal and go home and kick it old school to some scrambled porn.
There you go.
Yeah. Couch on fire. Number 1, Tigers can't catch or hit, but otherwise they're great. 2, Red Wings make the playoffs this season, the Lions and Pistons in 2 years. 3, often best part of the show is when Jason rags on Graham about his soccer obsession. Graham is a good sport at least. And bonus, more Lee Greenwood.
Oh, gosh.
Am I ragging on you too much? It seems like people are kind of defending you or something. Like, I mean, I don't mean to.
I don't think so. I don't. Yeah, I enjoy it.
And I've always said Graham is one of the best sports I've ever done a show with. He's really good at it. Graham Stout. Number 1, my impending visit to the UK has me thinking about the Revolutionary War. Taxation without representation was horrible at times, but I could also see a scenario where it works. My great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, Nathaniel Stout, said our forefathers were a 2-year group.
Well played.
2, if Patrick Henry had Paul Revere's game, he'd be LeBron James. And 3, the original U.S. Constitution included a guaranteed fulfillment of the Lansing Promise, but Irvington Wizard Johnson III struck it down in the final moments before ratification.
Well played, Graham Stout. Great stuff.
Tucker Tarlson. Jesus. Number 1, 98% certain I saw Graham a couple weeks ago walking out of the Grand Traverse Pie Company with a pie and this biggest grin ever. You have to be 100% sure. Like, you see, like, there's not many walking around that looks like Graham, you know.
And it was not me, because I have not, like, I'm excited that the Grand Traverse Pie Company that
because you never walk out with a pie, you always eat it indoors.
Yeah, the other problem is the one I always go to is the one right here downtown in Lansing next to the studio, and their hours, we used to go there all the time, like during our show when we did the afternoon and morning shows. I would go get a coffee, and I had it down. Like, first of all, they would have Pie Day over there and all sorts of things, and even on Pie Day when the lines were long, I had it down. On a commercial break, I could go over there and they'd throw me a coffee real fast. It was amazing.
Couch would just walk up there.
It was
like that scene in Goodfellas where just a camera following him. He just walks all the way back.
It was outstanding. But
cup.
And now we do it too late. They're not open anymore. So yeah, you did not see me with that.
Hans Jurgen.
All right, we missed his number 2.
Oh shit! What is golfing without a J and a few beers?
Damn straight. Skyman makes any. I'm telling you, Skyman also, the beauty of golfing with an edible or a little bit stoned.
Yeah.
Is that you just feel better about your overall game, right?
You care less, yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You laugh more when the ball goes into the other fairway. Hans Jurgen. Number 1, I didn't know Beyonce's boobs were that big. 2, I'm just saying what we're all thinking. And 3, MSU has won the offseason. Now let's win some damn games. And bonus hot take. The Ray Durham story was not that bad.
Thank you, Hans.
All right. I guess it wasn't that bad. I'll listen to the listeners here.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, no, I do think that, like, my question for you, Jason, it's been a really good and off season for MSU football overall. MSU basketball, things have picked up, but let's just say MSU football. Is there something that has to be done in September to keep this, like, can they have a season where people all of a sudden begin to doubt the future? Or is this, you think that would do it?
Sure. It'll be a disappointing season. I don't see this team going 7-5 unless something.
See, it's just too early in his tenure. Like, the whole
Sure.
thing is, you could have a program that's just not seasoned enough.
I know, but if you're going to pay him that kind of money and Tuck coming and this and that, you kind of expect it. Yeah, you won 11 games last year somehow. I think you have to keep it going. Unfortunately, you don't have a buffer period.
I think as long as the recruiting class stays intact and guys aren't jumping ship and they're adding the 4-star guys, I think
sure.
I think you could live with a 6-6, 7-5, and it would just be part of the journey.
Man, you think so?
I do, but I could be totally wrong because I often am.
Jake Hawkins, number 1. The Tigers are ran horribly, no doubt, but the Los Angeles Angels are heading down a more treacherous path by wasting away 2 once-in-a-lifetime talents. Trade Shohei Ohtani while his value is still really high. 2, I didn't ask a question on last Friday's show calling Bruce Springsteen overrated. I wouldn't have spent $700 on 4 tickets for his show in Detroit next March. Looking forward to his show.
I think we just misread that then, Jake. We apologize.
I don't know how we misread it.
Yeah,
Either you put it in wrong or something.
Yeah, it's possible.
3, here's another idea for a column sometime. Coach Brandon Jordan. His humble beginnings on starting his football coaching career that led him to being hired as a pass rush specialist coach under Mel Tucker at MSU. And bonus, a uniform from the 90s that really needs to make a return ASAP is the Toronto Raptors one with the dinosaur on it. Those were awesome, and I am really surprised Toronto doesn't have those as an alternate uniform.
I think of Marcus Camby when I picture those uniforms, like his early Toronto days.
Damon Stoudemire.
So if you were, I think there's one team that is more depressing than the Tigers. It is the Angels, because it does feel like you're wasting 2 generational talents. And
Shohei's only good for 1 more year. You know he's going to be gone no matter what. So do you trade him?
Why
out?
do you know he's gone? Because they spend a lot of money.
He's not going to stay in that. The Angels aren't going to win anytime soon. And Shohei Ohtani has said, I want to win.
Yeah.
Trout, you get away with it with Trout because it just seems like he's happy to be there or whatever. But
he's 30 now.
Ohtani's people are going to want him out of there.
Yeah, to me, you got to try to move him and just hang your head in shame, and because it is.
But what do you offer for Shohei Ohtani though? I mean, if they're these offers for Juan Soto, I mean, you got a guy that's got a 2-something ERA and hitting home runs all the time.
You got Ruth and Mantle on your team, and you can't find a way to win more than 75 games. It's fucked up, man.
I think it is more brutal than the Tigers, to be honest with you.
No, I think it would be depressing as hell. Like the Tigers, at least, there's nobody on the team that's any good. If you suck and you have those 2 players, and you continuously year after year after year, and you're willing to spend, I mean, it's
the Angels have spent money, though, to try to win a World Series.
It's like they've got Avila's baby brother or something running the show. I don't know what's going on.
I would try anything I could, though, to not have to trade Shohei Ohtani.
I know.
Would you rather trade Trout or Ohtani right now? Trout with his back injury thing?
Yeah, I would trade Trout, yeah. He's 32.
Just blows.
Yeah.
Upper Deck, your guy. Lastly, number 1, Izzo going to get another natty. 2, Tuck going to get a natty. 3, Nightingale going to get a natty.
Natties for everybody, Upper Deck Jerk Guy says.
Like Oprah.
Yeah. We appreciate all of your hot takes. Fantastic stuff. You guys make the show and make the conversation, and we're very, very well aware of that. And thanks for having my back on the stories.
Yeah, good Lord. I'm sorry.
We appreciate Skymint. Go to skymint.com for location information and specials. Look, they're all over Michigan. There's 3 in the greater Lansing area alone. Chances are you're within a short drive from a Skymint. Also, thanks to Midtown Brewing Company. Go to midtownbrewing.net to check out their menu and drink specials, or just have a meal, have a drink there. You'll enjoy the vibe. We will be back Tuesday night with one more show before I go overseas, and maybe we'll do Chad Latz. We'll have to figure that out. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Roof.